I have watched good hearts get called too much, the way oceans are blamed for being deep. I have seen tender people apologize for the size of their feelings, the way the moon might beg forgiveness for pulling the tide. And I have listened, Lord. I have listened to souls who were shaped by kindness, yet treated like a question no one bothered to answer. So let me tell you something plain and true. You are not hard to love. You were just misunderstood. You were spoken about in a language that couldn't pronounce your name, measured by hands that didn't know your worth, handled by folks who mistook your softness for weakness and your boundaries for rejection. But a rose does not become unlovable because someone refuses to learn how to hold it. I know what it is to carry light inside of me and still be left in the hallway. I know what it is to offer a whole loaf of love and have someone complain about the crumbs. Misunderstanding can be a lonely kind of weather, cold rain on a warm spirit, because it makes you question the very tenderness that makes you human. It can turn your laughter into a whisper, your trust into a locked door, your hope into a thing you hide behind your ribs. Yet even then, I learned this. The truth of you does not change just because somebody failed to see it. The sun does not dim itself to satisfy the blind. Hear me. You are not too sensitive. You are alive. You are awake. You are the kind of person who feels the tremble in another's voice, the tremor in a room, the sorrow behind a smile. And in a world that rewards numbness, your feeling becomes a rebellion. They may call it weakness, but I call it courage because it takes strength to keep your heart open when life has given you reasons to close it. Sensitivity is not a defect. It is a gift with a sharp edge, and the wise learn how to use it without bleeding out. I have seen how folks will try to name you with careless tongues, like they can pin you down the way a child pins a butterfly to a board. They will say you feel too much, cry too easily, and care too deeply, as if compassion were some unruly thing that needs to be disciplined. But I am telling you, the world has never been changed by the people who felt nothing. The world bends, slowly and stubbornly, toward the ones who can still be moved by injustice, by beauty, by the sound of a human being breaking and refusing to stay broken. If your eyes water when someone else is hurting, that is not your shame. That is your humanity showing its face. If your chest tightens when you walk into a room thick with unspoken sorrow, that is not weakness. That is your spirit, reading the air like scripture. Your sensitivity is a kind of knowing. It is the lantern you carry into dark places, the instrument that catches what others miss. It is how you sense the difference between a compliment and a performance, between love and possession, between laughter that heals and laughter that hides. And yes, it can make life heavy sometimes, because you don't just touch the surface of things, you feel their depth. You can taste disappointment in a handshake. You can hear absence in a "I'm fine." You can watch a smile and know the grief standing behind it with its arms folded. That kind of sight will tire you if you don't learn to rest, if you don't learn to put the lantern down now and then and let your own heart breathe. But do not you dare confuse your tenderness with fragility. A river looks gentle until you remember it carved the canyon. A feather looks soft until you see it lift a whole bird into the sky. You were built with feeling on purpose, not by accident. And if you have been wounded, it is only proof that you have been present in your own life, loving with your whole self, instead of dipping your toe in and calling it bravery. So take your sensitivity and treat it like the sacred thing it is. Let it guide you, but do not let it consume you. Let it open you, but do not let it empty you. And when somebody tries to make you feel small for the size of your heart, tell the truth without trembling. I am not too sensitive. I am simply awake, and I will not sleep through my own worth. Understand this. Being misunderstood does not mean you are misplaced in the universe. It means you are in the presence of people who cannot hold what you carry. Some hands only know how to grasp, not how to cradle. Some minds only know how to label, not how to listen. And when you walk into their lives with truth in your mouth and dignity in your posture, they will try to shrink you down to what they can manage. But you were not made to be managed. You were made to be known, to be respected, to be cherished in your full height and holy complexity. I have watched it happen in quiet rooms and crowded ones. I have seen a person offer their best self, like bread, warm, honest, nourishing, and still be told it is not enough, not sweet enough, not small enough, not easy enough to swallow. That is the tragedy of shallow eyes. They don't see the mountain, they only complain about the climb. They meet your depth and call it drama. They meet your standards and call it pride. They meet your boundaries and call them walls, because they have grown comfortable taking from people who never learned to say no. And when you finally stand up straight, when you finally speak with clarity, they look at you like you have become someone else. But you haven't changed into a stranger, you have simply returned to yourself. Let me tell you a hard truth, the kind that stings before it heals. Not everyone deserves access to you. Not everyone is qualified to interpret your heart. Some folks will look at your kindness and think it is currency. They will handle your trust like a tool. They will read your silence as permission to keep hurting you because they have never been taught to honor what is unspoken. And then, when you ask for gentleness, when you ask for honesty, when you ask for consistency, simple things, holy things, they will act as if you are asking for the moon. But listen to me, a person who cannot respect the basics of your dignity will never understand the beauty of your soul. That misunderstanding is not your failure, it is their limitation. You have to learn the difference between being loved and being used, between being seen and being watched. A cage and a home can have the same shape from the outside, but your spirit knows the difference the moment you step inside. If you keep finding yourself explaining your worth to people who benefit from doubting it, you will start to feel like a stranger in your own skin. So I want you to stop begging for translation. Stop polishing your pain into something palatable. Stop trimming your truth down so it can fit inside somebody's comfort. You are not too complicated, you are complete. You are not too much, you are enough, and then some. And when you walk away from those who insist on misunderstanding you, do it without hatred, without bitterness, without dragging your heart through the mud to prove you were right. Simply bless your own life with distance. Let them keep their small definitions. You keep your wide, living truth. And if they never learn your language, let them. You were not born to be reduced. You were born to be revealed. Remember this as you move forward. Love that is real does not demand you become smaller to fit inside it. Love expands to make room for you. Love asks questions. Love listens past your silence. Love does not punish you for having needs, for having scars, for having standards. And if someone only loves the version of you that stays quiet, stays convenient, stays easy, then that is not love. That is control dressed up like affection. I will not call you difficult because you require honesty, consistency, and tenderness. I will call you brave for refusing to settle for a half-hearted kind of devotion. I have watched people mistake hunger for love. They confuse attention with care, confusion with passion, crumbs with a feast. They get so used to being tolerated that they start calling it belonging. And I do not blame them, because loneliness can make a person bargain with their own dignity. It can make you take a hand that hurts you just because it is a hand. It can make you accept a voice that belittles you just because it says your name. But I want you to know deep in the marrow of you that the love meant for you will never require you to betray yourself. The love meant for you will not ask you to dim your laughter, lower your standards, silence your spirit, or shrink your dreams until they can sit politely in someone else's pocket. Real love is not a tight shoe you force your foot into, bleeding and limping, calling the pain commitment. Real love is a road where you can walk upright, shoulders back, breathing easy, knowing you are not being graded for your existence. It is not a courtroom where you must defend every feeling, explain every boundary, justify every tear. It is not a storm you keep standing in, hoping it will someday learn to be gentle. Love is supposed to be shelter and strength, a place where truth is welcomed like light through a window, not treated like a threat. And listen, scars do not make you unlovable. Scars are proof that you healed. Standards do not make you arrogant. Standards are the fence that protects the garden of your life. Needs do not make you needy. Needs make you human. You were not built to be a statue, silent, enduring, admired from a distance. You were built to be a living thing, to grow, to speak, to be held with care. The right love will not call your tenderness too much. It will call it sacred. The right love will not fear your honesty. It will lean closer. The right love will not compete with your healing. It will join you in it. So if you must walk alone for a season, walk with your head up and your heart intact. Let solitude teach you the sound of your own voice again. Let peace become so familiar that chaos can no longer pretend to be excitement. And when love arrives, real love, steady love, you will not have to audition for it. You will not have to chase it. You will recognize it by the way it honors you without effort. And until that day, hold this truth like a warm stone in your palm. You do not have to become smaller to be loved. You only have to be true. So now, beloved, gather yourself like a traveler gathers a coat against the cold. Gather your tenderness not as a burden, but as a banner. Gather your boundaries, not as bitterness, but as wisdom. Gather your story, the chapters that bruised you, the pages that tried to silence you, and hold them close because you did not survive all that just to live half a life apologizing for your heart. You are not hard to love. You were just misunderstood by people who never learned the sacred language of care. They looked at your depth and called it danger. They met your truth and tried to bargain it down. But your spirit was not born to be negotiated. Your dignity is not a thing to be rented out to anyone who shows up empty-handed. You are not a problem to be solved. You are a person to be cherished. And I want you to leave here with this. Do not chase love like it is running away from you. Walk in your wholeness and let love recognize its home. Let your no be clean. Let your yes be honest. Let your solitude be holy. If solitude is what it takes to keep your peace, Because peace is not loneliness, it is self-respect with its shoulders relaxed. It is your soul finally unclenching. It is you choosing yourself without fear. If you have been misunderstood, let that be the fire that refines you, not the chain that binds you. Keep your head high. Keep your heart soft, but your standards strong. Keep rising, not to prove them wrong, but to prove your life right. And when the right people come, those who listen with their whole presence, those who hold you with gentleness, and those who honor what you carry, you will not feel like you have to shrink to be safe. You will feel like you can finally breathe. If this found you, it was meant to. Good luck and thank you.